The Uncharted Territories is a podcast about seeing the unseen in the world of matter. Join me, Shara Prophet, the mind magic coach, and my partner, astrologer Scott Tajirian, as we take an esoteric look this season into the life, death, and afterlife of a variety of celebrities and public figures who lost their lives prematurely or unexpectedly.
So we're picking up this recording at another time. We recorded the first 2/3 of this Michael Jackson episode, and as we got towards the end of the episode and we're about to talk about now and then, we were about to talk about the passing of Michael Jackson, Shara got to the page in her notebook where she writes all her notes when she meets with these subjects, and the page that talked about Michael Jackson's death was ripped out.
Yeah.
And she didn't know that until we were already recording, and she's like, wait, hold on a second, where's that page?
Yeah, that was pretty weird.
Yeah, so we had to take a break, and Shara has since reconnected with Michael Jackson, and I'm excited to hear if he knows what happened to the page and what he had to tell you. Like, because I remember you were saying that maybe there's something else that he wants to tell you that he didn't tell you in the first visit, and now that's why this happened. So let me get your perspective here.
Yeah. So first of all, I had to ask him if he was dead or alive, because there's so much hoopla and talk lately about him not being dead and that he's like Joe Biden and all this weird stuff.
God, it's so crazy.
So I'm like, okay, are you not dead? And maybe that's why the page was missing. I don't know. And I had to pull cards on him, and I was using the Hoodoo Tarot deck. And what came out was the Ancestor card, which lets me know that he's definitely passed over because, he's now an ancestor.
Okay.
And then there were several cards that came up too that basically confirmed that it was his energy that those cards were talking about.
Okay.
And so I asked him, what happened to that page, dude? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because I don't even remember what was written on that page, to be honest with you. And so he said, well, I need to tell it differently. And I said, okay.
So he ripped the page out.
Do it again. I don't know if he ripped it out. I don't know. It could have been something as simple as maybe I was led to rip it out and did something else with it.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so I don't know if he physically did it or if he let me just
mindlessly
write something on there
reason.
And rip it out and use it for something. I don't know.
Right.
But he said he needed to tell it differently.
Okay, tell what?
So we're talking about end of life right now, right? Now, at the time of Michael's passing, he was preparing for a tour. He was...
Right. I watched that documentary.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. It was like heartbreaking and sad.
Yeah.
Because you see, like, he still had his gift.
Yeah.
It was still there. Like, he could still turn it on. But you knew that this whole rehearsal was for nothing because he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And that it felt very unfulfilling.
Well, let's talk about that because Michael was in a lot of pain during that film and during his rehearsals.
Yeah.
And I did a little bit of digging and found out why he was in so much pain. He had lupus.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was diagnosed with lupus in 1983, I believe. Between 1983 and 1986, he was diagnosed with lupus. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what that is, lupus.
Lupus, basically your body is attacking itself, okay? So it creates great pain. Your joints are painful and achy. It disrupts your sleep pattern. So there's it was some sleep deprivation going on there. And of course, if you're losing sleep and you're not able to rest, then you have a lot of brain fog. It's really difficult for you to remember things. It was very hard for him to move his body. He had to go through a lot, use a lot of energy to move his body the way he used to. And then you add on age, and then you add on all of the stress that he was under. Okay, because he was under immense stress. Even from the years previous, dealing with all of the allegations and the court hearings and everything, whether it's true or false, whatever, it still adds a lot of stress.
Totally.
Plus the stress of his childhood that was never ever healed, right? And so we're going to dig into that because I like to talk about the medical condition and then the emotional, spiritual associations to that. Okay, so lupus, he was in extreme pain. He said that his joints felt like they were folding in on each other. And he did like this folding motion. He said they just felt like they were just kind of folding in on each other, like he was being put inside of a box, which is interesting to say, you know.
Yes. Because he was put inside
of a box.
Yeah.
Yes, a very small one.
Yes.
And he said, I was exhausted and I couldn't focus. I had sleep deprivation. And this was one of the reasons he was given that propofol.
Yes, is a sleep aid, right?
It's an anesthesia.
Oh, wow. So it really puts you under.
Yeah. But this is the thing about the propofol. It would put him in a very deep drug-induced coma, but he wasn't getting restful sleep. So it was like countering everything.
Oh, my God.
So he was just high as hell, not getting the proper amount of rest, dealing with a disease, dealing with lupus. His body is turning on itself, okay? So, of course, he's in pain. Of course, he's not only dealing with physical pain, he's dealing with a lot of psychological pain because he can't focus. He's not living a healthy lifestyle, pretty much, you know?
Yeah, if you're not able to rest, then how can you focus in what you need to do?
Exactly. So, and then the other drug was the let me butcher this name real quick. Benzodiazepine, which is a tranquilizer.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So this is why this man was tired. He's exhausted. And there was a lot of stress on the heart.
Yeah.
A lot of stress on the heart.
I can't imagine it's a healthy thing to do,
Not
to be
at
taking
all.
a tranquilizer and
An
anesthetic.
That is deep
to go to
shit.
sleep every night?
Every night.
That's insane.
Just to go to sleep.
That's nuts.
And I asked him, I said, you were a billionaire, couldn't like afford some other
Find a better way?
holistic ways of doing things?
So what'd he say?
He said it didn't work for him. He tried. He was like, of course I tried that. It didn't work, but it didn't work because of the deeper underlying things that was happening. And that's what the trauma.
He wasn't dealing with
the trauma, which is a running theme for all of these people, y'all.
Exactly.
Listen up.
Yes.
Deal with your trauma.
Absolutely. Because it will manifest into your body.
It sure will. And it will take you right on out of here if you're not paying attention to it. So, okay. When we think about the pathway through the brain, so your emotional pain as well as your thoughts, all of these travel through the same pathway in the brain. So this is why, you know, your thoughts and your emotions equal an actual physical manifestation.
Yes.
You know. So lupus, the spiritual and emotional association to lupus is deep self-hate.
Wow.
Self-rejection. It comes from a lack of being loved properly from the father. Or some other significant male figure who might have played a big role in his life. We all know that that was his father, right?
Yeah.
And basically is not healing the wound of a broken heart. And it breeds constant insecurity, self-doubt, conflict with your identity, self-worth issues. Okay. They usually conceal, the people who are dealing with lupus, they usually are really good at concealing this self-hate. And how do they do it? Can you take a wild guess?
Drugs?
No.
Oh.
By performing.
Oh, exactly. Okay. Yes. By putting the spotlight on them, everything is fine.
Perfectionism, putting on an act, a performance of being very, very driven. So pushing. And it's like I'm constantly trying to prove myself to myself and to the world and to my father to make sure that everybody knows that I am the best at everything because I don't feel that inside of me.
Yes. Okay. I'm looking at how that equates in his astrological code because His chiron, which is the wound,
Mm-hmm.
and the ancient wisdom that is unlocked through healing that wound,
Mm-hmm.
is in the 12th house, which is the house of the unconscious. So he had a wound in his unconscious. He also had ancient wisdom in his unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
That was in alignment with Saturn, the father,
Mm.
and the midheaven, which is ruled by Saturn, which represents career. It was also in Aquarius, which represents the community. So it's like he had a wound to his unconscious in relation to the community,
Mm-hmm.
society,
Mm-hmm.
and his father and sense of achievement.
Wow.
So that's what he was dealing with. And it was directly opposite Venus,
Mm-hmm.
which is the feminine relationships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, poor guy. It's
It's
just
a tortured soul.
tortured. I mean,
Tortured soul.
and this is why I couldn't sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Because he's thinking about all this stuff. It's
yeah.
rolling around
absolutely,
in his mind.
absolutely.
Was he seeing a therapist or anything like that? Did you ask him that, or?
He was seeing a therapist for a little while.
Mhm.
But again, he kept saying that it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It wasn't helping me.
Hmm.
And this is the thing about traditional therapy. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It works. However, you have to have a release. You know, you bring all of this stuff up, right? And that's great. You recognize it. You know where it's coming from. And he knew what his wound was. It wasn't that he didn't know. He just didn't have the right tools
Right.
to pass that energy out of the body. You have to release the energy because we all got wounds. We all got
Yes.
traumas, you know.
Yes.
Some people's traumas and wounds are way worse than Michael Jackson's,
Right.
you know.
Absolutely, for sure.
So we have to learn how to release that energy out of the body. It's one thing to talk about it and bring it up in a session, but then once it's up there, what do you do with it?
Mhm.
Now you just woke it up and it's really churning and rolling around and wreaking havoc on the body. So if we don't have a way to release that energetically, we turn to drugs because now the body is like, what the hell, dude? Like, we're trying to show you that something's out of whack, we're out of balance, and we're going to be in pain. Now you can't sleep. Now your life is all over the place.
What would have you suggested?
I would have suggested definitely some inner child healing work, for sure. Doing some deep, deep trance work where he could tap into the subconscious where all of those programs live, because everything that happens to us gets programmed in the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
So that he could go in and identify, uproot, clear it out, and then replace it with something more beneficial, more loving.
Yes.
You know, so he couldn't feel the love from his father, but in inner child work, you become the father,
Right.
you become the parent, and
Exactly.
you love and nurture that child, that younger version of yourself. So I would have recommended that, honestly, on top of some other services that could have helped with maintenance.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Some ancestral healing work,
Mm-hmm.
definitely some parental forgiveness and healing bloodline work,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man. It's deep.
Yes.
Okay, so let's
Good
talk
stuff.
about the sleep deprivation, and then we're going to talk about his actual death,
Mhm,
okay, and what that was about. So, okay, sleep deprivation is caused by stress. Fear, anxiety is triggered by some kind of life tragedy, such as worrying about the future, abuse, strained relationships, victimization, so on and so on. You know, whatever you can think of that causes stress, fear, and anxiety. Okay, so in the hypothalamus is an area in the brain that converts your thoughts into physical reactions.
Mm.
And it's the information center of the mind-body connection. So it also controls the sleep and the wake-up patterns, okay? And when the fear and the anxiety and the stress enter your thoughts, then that hypothalamus gets activated. And it sends a signal to what we call the reticular activity system. And this is the area of the brain that wakes you up, okay? So
Okay.
this is the scientific kind of pathway of how stress causes insomnia for people who are suffering with that.
Yes.
And it's so interesting because when you look this stuff up of like the causes of lupus, the causes of sleep deprivation, they will say that sleep deprivation causes the stress and the anxiety. But it's really difficult to find like something that says the stress is what it's a cycle. You know what I mean? The stress is what triggers the sleep deprivation. The sleep deprivation increases the stress and the anxiety because you're not sleeping.
Exactly.
So where does the stress and the anxiety come from?
Totally.
It's 2021. Like, why are we still
acting like it's the 1950s?
Yeah. But when I type in the spiritual associations to things, then I can find everything.
Oh, yeah.
But if you just type in causes of lupus, it tells you the symptoms of the lupus.
Right.
And that stress and anxiety causes lupus. And it's just like, okay. Thanks, doctors.
Exactly. When you go to the doctor and they say, what's wrong with you? It's like, aren't you supposed to tell me what is wrong with me?
They don't know. And not all of them. There's some excellent doctors out there. For sure.
I also see it from an astrological perspective as well. You know, last week I had a night where I did not sleep. Mm-hmm. I tried to go to sleep. And normally I have no problem going to sleep. But, 5 minutes later, I hit the pillow, I'm out. Mm-hmm. But I was up all night. And then what was it? Mercury was squaring my sun.
Ooh.
And
what does that mean?
Well, Mercury is the planet that rules your mind. Mm-hmm. And the sun is your identity. Mm-hmm. So squaring off with something, it's a fight.
Yeah.
It's stress. So the planet that rules your mind is stressing with your identity. Mm. And when Michael died, and in the 2 weeks leading up to his death, Mercury was squaring his sun. Mm-hmm. At the time of his death, Mercury was squaring his moon. And the moon is the emotions. So the mind, the planet that rules the mind, stressing the identity, and then later stressing the emotions.
Interesting. I mean, his body was just straight up interpreting everything that the planets had in store for him.
Yes.
Wow.
Now, I mean, when this happened to me, like, I didn't try to fight it. I got up and I did work.
Yeah.
I was productive. I'm like, I'm up for a reason. I'm not just going to toss and turn. And, the next night I was able to go to sleep because I rode the wave.
Yeah.
If you're taking helpers to put you down when the planets are saying, no, you need to be awake right now, then it's going to mess up the entire rhythm of your body's relationship to the planets and stars.
Yeah.
So because I stayed up all night and went through my day, didn't take a nap, I wasn't tired.
Yeah.
But that next night, I slept like a baby because I honored the rhythm of the planets. And it sounds like Michael wasn't doing that. He's like, well, I need to sleep. So give me the
propofol,
the tranquilizer,
and the anesthetic.
And the anesthetic. So if you're taking tranquilizer and anesthetic, it's like you said, he wasn't getting rest.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting rest.
And he wasn't aligning. He wasn't aligning with his higher purpose for ascension.
He needed to be awake.
Yeah.
The planets were saying, wake up.
Yeah.
You need to pay attention to this right now.
Yep.
There's some issues going on right now. Pay attention to it. No. Put me out. And so they're like, okay, well then you're going to be out for good.
Oh, man. So this is why he had to tell it different.
Yeah.
He said, I have to tell it different.
Yes.
Because this is a message for somebody listening. Wake
Absolutely.
up. Wake up.
That's
Wake
what
up.
he wants. He wants people to know, don't do it like I did it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because we get so caught up on trying to be the best and make all this money and work hard and all that. You know what I mean?
Jesus. Yes.
And listen, I love money. Okay, so let's not.
You're a Taurus.
I am not a person that's like, just do it for the love. Yeah, do it for the love, but also make your coin.
Hey, we live in the material world.
Thank you. Yes, exactly.
So respect that.
Absolutely, but don't kill yourself either.
Well, and that's the thing. Like the planets are saying, yeah, we live in the material world. Respect that. Appreciate that. But at the same time, you need to respect the magic of the world too, and understand that. Are you safe right now? Do you have air in your lungs? Is your belly full? Do you have clothes on your back? A roof over your head? Then what are you freaked out about?
Yeah.
You need to rest right now.
Yeah.
We'll keep you up when you need to be up. And when you need to sleep, you need to sleep. But if you're drinking the caffeine to get going or other drugs to get going during the day and then taking other drugs to go to sleep at night, you're messing with the rhythm of the planets and stars.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
And your body's going to be in a bad way.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yep. You have to honor
pattern.
it.
Yeah.
And you have to ask your body, what are you trying to tell me right now?
Yep.
Why are we not sleeping?
Yes.
What do you want from me?
Absolutely.
What's up?
That's it.
It will tell you.
It will.
You need to meditate, or you need to go see a doctor, or you need to go like see somebody else, like a professional or something, or you need to drink more water. I mean, sometimes my body is like, just drink some water.
Absolutely. That it's so
You'll be
funny
fine.
you bring that.
like, oh, okay.
I did like the night that I was up, I drank water.
Yeah.
I have all my tricks,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, I'm dehydrated. I need to drink some, I drink some water. I go to sleep. I did some deep breathing, some meditating. I did a headstand. I did some yoga. And when all that stuff didn't work, I was finally like, okay, I'm up now.
Yeah.
It's 4 a.m. When I'm going to sleep, I have to be up at 7 anyway.
Yep.
So I might as well just be productive. And I was, and it was a great day. So.
Yeah, I have those. I don't have them all the time, but when I have them, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
it's rare.
just get up and just handle some business right now,
Absolutely.
And then, because it's something in the background of your mind, something is like, hey, go ahead and do this. And what I find is usually when that happens,
genius.
Something is like, oh, I'm so happy I did that shit at like 4:00 in the morning the other day.
Yes.
That's why y'all had me up like that.
Absolutely.
So just trust that, Trust that. And I feel like that's the message that he had. It's so odd how it comes in. I mean, like, sometimes just ripping a page out of the book will make you revisit something, It. Wow. Thanks, Mike.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about his death. Because I asked him, was his death an accident? Because, of course, that is also, up in the air. It's some type of conspiracy. People are thinking like, the record label had something to do with it or whatever. So when I pulled a card for that, what came up was this card called the Fates, Fates.
And what's that?
The Fates.
Yeah.
Basically, it represents fate, karma, accepting things that you cannot change, and knowing what those things are.
So it was just meant to be.
It was just time.
Yeah.
It was just time.
Yeah.
I don't know, that may be hard for a lot of people to grasp.
Right.
That was just the way it needed to happen.
Now, was the anesthesiologist responsible?
Absolutely,
it was a mistake.
he's responsible.
He messed up.
He messed up.
Yeah.
But why did he mess up?
It was an accident.
It was an accident, but we know now that it was also
meant to be.
The fate, because this is what, again, it goes back to the subconscious mind. Like he said, I was tired. I was exhausted. That program was go, 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 because he's a perfectionist, right?
Yep.
What's his sign? He's Virgo.
He's a Virgo.
Ah, there you go.
He's a 6th house Virgo, and the 6th house is associated with the 6th sign, which is Virgo.
Oh, Jesus.
So he's a super Virgo.
with the cape on, right?
Yeah, super perfectionist. Really hard on himself, very critical, mind happening all the time.
Yes.
His restless mind. I tell my Virgo clients, like, give your mind a break.
Yeah.
It's a tool for you. You're not its tool. You need to know how to put that tool back in the belt.
Yeah.
As opposed to it running you all the time.
Absolutely. It needs to work for you.
Yes.
It's supposed to work for us, not run us into the ground. I feel like that's the purpose for us as humans, is to learn how to use the mind and get it to work on our behalf.
It's all energy. It's learning how to work with the energy. If you're a Virgo, if your Mercury's in Virgo, if your Moon's in Virgo, if you're a Virgo rising, you have an overactive mind. You're being very critical on yourself. You're analyzing everything. You're focusing on the details. It's like, I think of like fire. Fire can warm a room or it can burn down the house. It's all how you're working with it. Virgo's an earth sign, so I think of earth. Earth can provide stability and structure. foundation, or it can bury you.
Yeah.
So it all depends on how you're working with the energy. So you have to understand. I wish I could talk to Michael and say, do you understand this about yourself? This is how you were made, so that you can learn how to work with the energy at hand and understand that your version of perfection is unattainable.
Yeah.
And what you reach to everyone else, even though to you it's not that great, to everyone else, it's genius.
Yeah.
You're the dog that's chasing the rabbit around the track that never catches the rabbit, but it's not about that. It's about winning the race.
Yep.
And you're winning. So give yourself a break.
Yeah, he kept winning too until he wasn't anymore.
Exactly.
I mean, until he got tired of running. He was just exhausted. Tired.
Yes.
You know?
And when you talk about his mind, his unconscious, he had 3 planets transiting through the 12th house on the day that he died. And they'd been there for years. At least 2 of them had been there for years. A third one had been there for the year, maybe longer. Chiron, the wound, Neptune, the planet of illusion, and Jupiter, the planet of expansion. And they're all right within the same degree.
Yeah.
Right within the same degree. So expanding the wound, expanding the illusion, feeling like you've been deceived in some way.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
Happening in his unconscious mind.
And I feel like if he would have done the work, he could have reversed the
100%.
energy of those. They would have
That's
still
it.
been there, but he could have reversed it. It could have been an expansion of him rising out of that.
Absolutely.
You know?
That's the whole point. Exactly. If you don't understand the energy that you're working with, if you don't understand the energy of fire, you're going to burn yourself.
Yeah.
If you do understand the energy, then you're able to create something that's magic. And so, yeah.
Well, this is why he is an ascended master now, because he is here to teach people some things. And, hopefully whoever is listening to this, if you need it, hopefully this helps you in some kind of way, because this is a genius. Like,
absolutely.
Have not seen anything like him.
No.
Really,
No.
and we won't. I don't think we ever will.
No,
Not in
no.
our lifetimes. We won't.
There's no one I can think of that I can compare to Michael Jackson.
No, and he has not reincarnated yet either. So that essence of him hasn't come back into. Right. I don't feel like it's been recycled yet
into a physical body.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it won't.
Right.
It just hasn't yet.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate you coming back in and giving us all of this amazing information, and keep rising and keep evolving on the other side, because he is.
Absolutely.
He is.
The journey
He's
never
going
stops.
through a lot of training. He was quite evolved here. He just couldn't tap into his own shit. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Say that. Articulate.
Couldn't tap into his own shit.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't know how to work through his own stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, he knew what was going on with him, but he just didn't understand how to clear it in a healthy way, effective way.
Yes.
It was trying to be quick. And that's the thing about instant gratification. We got to be careful with that. Got to be careful with that instant gratification.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to healing.
Yes.
Doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, it's
and
work.
It damn sure does not happen through using anesthetics and tranquilizers.
No.
Like, come on.
No.
Yeah. So don't use don't use those things,
No.
guys. Just, if you can't sleep, do like Scott and I did. Do some work.
That's how you follow the rhythms.
Yeah.
That's how you follow the rhythms. And Michael could follow the rhythms.
He damn sure could.
On the stage.
Yeah.
But in this area, he was missing the beat.
Yeah.
So, but I'm very grateful for you, Shara, and for Michael and his openness with you. And thank you.
Thank
you
you,
to our
Scott.
listeners. Yes.
Thank you for always enlightening us with the astrological charts. I mean, it's so amazing how it lines up. It just really lines up. So
I'm honored.
It's awesome. Yes, thank you. I am honored to be in your presence.
Oh, the feeling's mutual.
Okay, now we're getting too mushy.
Yeah, no, exactly. All right. Until the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye. You've been listening to The Uncharted Territories, where we see the unseen in the world of matter. If you would like to support the podcast, subscribe.
We've talked a lot about the subconscious mind and the importance of healing our wounds from the past. As an energy healer and a certified hypnotherapist, I help people understand how the mind works so they can harness the energy of the subconscious and tap into their inner power and make those positive long-term changes in their lives. If you're ready to make that change, you can book a session with me by connecting at opendoorhypnosis.com. I look forward to working with you.
If you'd like to learn more about who you are, where you come from, why you're here, and what you're meant to do with your life, contact me, Scott Tajarian, at theweeklytransit.com, and we will take a close, detailed look at your astrological code. My purpose is to help you understand who you are so you can accept, appreciate, and love the divine, unique miracle that is you.